Okay. So it's Mundo versus what are you playing? Renekton? Okay. So what's your game plan going into the lane?
Um, I mean, like honestly, their comp is like really bad, especially late.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think of like if I can shut down Mundo. The thing is if a Mundo's good, like I really can't really kill him. Like I won't get him to feed at all.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you don't need to make Mundo feed. You just need to make sure you're getting ahead, right? Like you can
yeah,
just like you know you don't have to like
that's
make him go 0-10. If you can, that's good, but like it's really hard to kill a tank. Um,
yeah
so anyways, already here, what are you assuming?
that he's leashing.
It is leashing. Perfect. So you know that Fiddlesticks is once again Fiddlesticks is not a level 2 ganker, right? He doesn't really have the strongest level 2. So you
No.
don't have to assume that basically if Fiddlesticks does something like 1-2 into top lane, this is really not going to happen. And the reason for this is because if he does this, then Yi will just go like 1-2-3 straight and meet him at his right side jungle, right? So you can assume that this is actually not going to happen. So alternatively, all you need to do now is just last hit. Right? Last hit and make sure you're getting the level 2 first. So immediately, already, the wave is thinned. Right? This is all fine. You're just last hitting, you're just trying to get the level 2 advantage.
Right.
Here, and then immediately... So, look at this issue. So, this next minion, you should get level 2 in, right?
Right.
Okay, this is not this one, and this one right here. So immediately, you look at your movements in the lane. You could be standing over here, and then while simultaneously last hitting this, then you could basically ricochet to these minions and then get a trade on them. Right? You basically now chunk them, and then you just slow push the lane straight into them. You bounce back the wave, and then you basically have the wave reset, and then you get the level 3 advantage on them.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So immediately here, you should just be on top of him. Like, you see how you're back up and he's still level 1?
Yeah, I should be just abusing the like my champ. This is what my champ does.
Yeah,
like,
and he walks back into you, which is like atrocious, right? It's really bad that he walks back right into you. And that basically gives you the trade anyway, but that doesn't matter because you were way too slow on the trade initially. You know that Fiddlesticks is never really going to be here. There's absolutely no reason to ward. Alternatively, one thing you should be doing is before the game actually starts, place the ward over here or place the ward over here. This will basically, or place it at like 120, right? This will basically deny you from actually having to waste time properly warding. Also, it'll basically spot out the enemy jungler doing scuttle crap here, right? So you don't need to waste your time warding. You should just be on top of him here. Okay? Just keep pressuring him for every single CS he takes, and this is a waste of spell. You don't need to do that. Here, just keep last hitting.
Which spell?
But here, you're ricochet. You're like, what is that? What is it called? Slice and dice? Your E? Or what's it called? Yeah, slice and dice. All right, so here you don't need to do this. This doesn't do anything.
I was doing it just to poke, but
okay, that's fine. But here you just need to like stay on top of him. Right, and at this point we're just simply last hitting. Okay, here there's no reason to back up. Okay.
Okay.
When he goes for the last hit, you're gonna trade onto him. He's gonna back up, you're gonna back up. He's gonna go forward, you're gonna move forward.
Okay.
Okay? If he goes for a CS, you go for it. You go for the last hit. Alternatively, what you can do is as this wave crashes in, and because the next wave is crashing in as well, and you can it builds up, you can actually walk really close to him, and this will basically put him really under like a shit ton of pressure psychologically. Right?
Right.
So you actually have no reason to walk back in this case. Top is really micro, you know, so you have to like be very, very specific. Once again, he goes for an auto, you go for an auto, right? What is he thinking? He wants this auto. You can use your spell, kill this, and then get poke on him as well, right? And then obviously be aware that you're not in tower aggro, right? Because that'll obviously make you lose the trade. So okay, this is fine. This is fine. And here you just reset the wave.
Yeah, I was just trying to get. I kind of just wanted to get out of tower, and because he's lower now, so I was thinking I could reset the wave.
In this case, you don't actually have to. You don't have to move back because in case he tries to freeze the lane, which is not going to happen, you'd move back into him. Now, one thing you can do.
I think this game I was tunneling a lot, so and not looking at my map. So I think the reason I was warding is because I wasn't sure where Fiddle might be.
Okay, well, you know where Fiddle is at the moment. You know that he's on the right hand side of the map. Well,
Well,
obviously after we're watching it.
I didn't know. Yeah,
At the
yeah,
time,
yeah,
at the time.
yeah.
Okay, so fair enough. And in this case, obviously, just start keeping track of the jungler. Now, one thing you can do as well, the rain is being reset and there's actually nothing to do. She's not going to kill him under tower, obviously, right? One
Mhm.
thing you can do is just go ahead and take the Scuttle Crab and then, like, scout for Fiddlesticks in case, like,
Right.
he does a really weird fucking route, right? And
Mhm.
then wait for and obviously come back when the wave resets. So, like, walking aimlessly doesn't really do anything for you here.
Right,
You
and I feel like I do this a lot. Like I feel like I walk aimlessly a lot.
This is pointless, right? This is pointless. You're missing XP
Right.
in this case.
Yeah.
Right? It's not what you want to do. Now here, don't push. There's no reason to push. That minion does not need last hitting. Your goal should be simply to bounce back the wave and freeze here. And the reason you want to freeze here is because obviously the distance between, the pink line, the purple line, right?
Mhm.
You want that distance so that Mundo comes up to you so you can actually trade with them. And then chase him down the lane. So by autoing this minion, it basically shoves the wave. It still shoves into you because there's more minions, but it basically, if you kill this, then this wave shoves into him, and that's not what you want to do.
So will I lose CS sometimes in order to make a wave shove into me?
No, this last hit.
Just last hit.
This
okay.
last hit, but you didn't last hit there. You actually
I autoed him. Yeah.
you
I
autoed the
autoed
minion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like right here, we can go over it really quickly. Just a quick glimpse. Right here, this is not in any position to get last hit by the minion.
Right.
This auto doesn't make sense. So, and then once again, you kept autoing, right? And now the wave is pushing back into him, and that's not good. That's not what we want, because by the time that this wave shoves into him, and we know that obviously whatever's happening here isn't the case. We know that Fiddlesticks, his next camps are going to be over here, and then obviously Blue's going to spawn eventually, right? In about 2.5 minutes. So what will end up happening is if the wave does get slow pushed into this area of the map, and then say obviously at the time Blue won't be up, Fiddlesticks will be looking for a potential gank on top of you, even though ganking you would actually be a complete waste of his time, right? Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can time, right? So if basically the rule of thumb is if the wave is slow pushing into the enemy and there's nothing you can do about it at that point, and you know the enemy jungler has camps on the left-hand side of the map and he knows that he can kill you, and then you have to just hard shove the wave or try to get the hard shove and then reset. Alternatively, if you can't get the hard shove, back up, take this camp, and then come back to lane and hope to God that he pushes you back, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna lose CS, but that's kind of your fault in the initial stages because you actually autoed the wave, which was not what you wanted to do. Do you have any questions regarding that?
No.
Okay. And at this point, it's just shoving him in, right? Now here you need to hard shove him in. You're not gonna kill him. Your routes should just be like shove him in, look for obvious trades, scout out Fiddlesticks, and then go straight mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, I am hard shoving, even though it doesn't. I'm waiting for my rage to come in to shove.
You can auto. He's not going to go on top of you. Like, he actually can't kill you because you have such a big wave here, right? So there's no reason to. Here you just recall. So what do you build on this player, on this champion? I actually don't know. You just go Tiamat?
Yeah, I always go Tiamat.
Okay, so you can just assume you're just going to keep shoving him in then, at that point.
Right. I mean, that's my problem is that I do... But, like... For me, I like to use the Tiamat for cancels and like for combos and stuff, like because I like to weave autos and use the Tiamat like and stuff. So
now here these movements,
but it does auto push.
Like he's dog shit, right? And the reason he's dog shit is because he's so back. Even though he has such a huge minion wave, if you trade in this minion wave, he wins. Mundo wins. Mundo wins if you trade in this massive wave, right? Yet you walk up and he doesn't abuse you for it, so it's really bad. So you can't actually make movements like this. You need to just start basically thin the wave.
Yeah.
So thin these waves and then keep the lane here because you know Fiddlesticks is on the left hand side, right? He might not be, but that doesn't mean that a good jungler will probably be like around top lane right now. And here you simply just kill him, which is like fine, but it doesn't look like you did.
No, I don't kill him. No.
It's okay. So here you just slow push the wave. And the reason you slow push it is because you know he has TP. Okay? So, let's talk about this for a minute. If you slow push this wave versus hard pushing it, what ends up happening?
I mean, if I slow push, I have time to go do other things.
Well, not really. You don't need to, what else are you going to do?
No, I guess I don't. But if I slow push, it's gonna crash a huge wave that he's going to have to stay and deal with. I mean, I don't know. I guess my reasoning for hard pushing was to bait his TP.
Well, he's gonna TP anyway.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't, then you hard push it in. You know he's gonna TP. So when he TPs in, you have a bigger wave. And by having a bigger wave, he can't actually fight you. And then let's say, for example, Fiddlesticks decides to come onto a gank because the player is really bad. Then you can actually 2v1 them in your wave. And that's why building a bigger wave than... I mean, this is already a pretty big wave, but if you build this next wave up, then it becomes even bigger, which basically equivalents to even more minion damage. Does that make sense?
Right, yeah.
So these are things that you can start doing, and pushing him in just gives him the free XP, whereas you actually have nothing to do on the map. Now, one thing you can do is you can actually hard shove this wave into it. The next wave you can hard shove and then go straight to his blue buff, and then just kill him at blue, right? So here you can just hard shove because there's absolutely no reason not to. You're not going to kill Mundo. In fact, he outtrades you. Here you can just go like right here. You should have just pushed the wave in, right? You could have came and then you could have met him in his jungle, knowing that his blue buff's up, right? But instead, now you're actually in this weird position where you're gonna die. I mean, you're gonna kill him first, but no, never mind. Okay.
Nope, no. This is like basically when I start. Basically, most of this.
It's just the minion waves that you manipulated really poorly, right?
Yeah.
If you had slow pushed the lane in, and then crashed a bigger wave into tower, maybe you had some ample time to meet Fiddlesticks in his jungle, right? Maybe if you had slow pushed the wave in, he wouldn't be able to actually, trade onto you the way he did. But it doesn't matter. So here, we can just hard shove, it doesn't matter, and, keep just trying to get tower damage. This is all fine. It's all fine. And here you can just, at this point, sure, you can just keep shoving and it doesn't do anything. You're not going to kill him. Okay, you have any questions so far?
No,
With your ward, you can place your ward here, and alternatively, you can place your ward even deeper. Because what you want to do is you can just basically freeze the lane here, and the reason you want to actually go ahead and let him shove into you and have the lane here, because Master Yi is here. Now let's say Master Yi decides to go top lane, which he should because, I mean, he shouldn't, mainly because there's no reason to, but if he does come top lane, then you can actually get a kill on him very easily, and that'll equivalent to Rift Herald. So at this point, don't auto the wave and don't trade with him. There's no reason to do this. Let him shove you in, because if we backspace, or if we just rewind for a few seconds, this wave is shoving into you. Look how he's autoing the wave.
Yeah.
If you just play really scared and chill here, this wave will shove into you. It doesn't matter. And even if he backs up, well, he doesn't actually have anything to do. The one thing Mundo can do is maybe take Gromp. He can maybe take Wolves, but then that'll put his jungler behind, right? He can alternatively... He can't make any roams in mid lane. He's a Mundo. His what do you call it? Like, the way he moves into a lane doesn't actually... It's not really that threatening, so it doesn't really matter. And then you know that because these next camps are going to be red and golems, that if you just keep a freeze right here, it's way too easy for you to go ahead and kill him, right? So here you don't need to trade with them. So minion advantage or minion manipulation is like really key in top lane. But what ends up happening is Yi now sees that you're hard shoving him in, and now he doesn't actually go ahead and do anything, and he just resets to the right hand side, right? So nothing actually gets accomplished, right? In the lane that you want to be looking to snowball in,
right?
Now, these smaller issues happen throughout the game, right? I'm not going to talk about, like, micro and lane phase. We can go ahead and talk about, like, your macro decisions. But do you have any, like... Does this all make sense for the most part?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. It does.
At this point, you can... I mean, shoving mid is fine. But there's no reason really to duel him.
No.
There's absolutely no reason to duel him there.
I died to him, I think.
No, yeah, I don't think you died, but there's no reason to duel him. Mainly because of this. You're running Ignite, you don't actually... There's no reason to be mid lane, right? So the less you do, the better at this point. You know?
Right. And I think that's like kind of what... I think I kind of like... I mean, I'm kind of tilting because we're not ahead, and I'm like, how do I get a kill?
It's not that you're not ahead. You're not that... It's fine. You know these players are going to make mistakes, right? They're going to keep making mistakes because that's all they know how to do. They're in gold 2. Plat 5, right? So you don't have to worry about them not making mistakes. Your priority in the lane should be to properly trade, make correct decisions through vision, and then setting up your jungler. Okay? The biggest issue is you're not properly trading, nor are you trading effectively. Like, you're not effectively trading with this power spikes you're actually getting on the champion versus Mundo. But now to the point where Mundo has so many defensive stats where you're actually not going to kill him, and killing him is kind of just a waste of time. Your vision is lacking when you know the enemy jungler is on your side of the map, and well, the first issue is not even tracking him, right? So I guess you can note that your first thing you want to do is start tracking the jungler, and then the second thing is obviously setting up vision to actually shut down the jungler. And then obviously not acknowledging the fact that minion waves play a part in how the junglers actually approach the lane, right?
Yeah, that's just bad.
Here you die and you lose top lane, and you
Yeah.
lost a lane you shouldn't be losing,
Yeah.
right? You lost a lane you just should not be losing here.
Hmm.
Mundo's only advantage here is to become unkillable, so that he basically forces people to come to him, right? But that doesn't mean anything because you want to do a 1-3-1 anyway eventually, so it doesn't matter. And at this point, you're in a really ugly spot where you're still just pacing around, just push the wave in. There's nothing that they can do, right? You see Fiddlesticks on the map. This doesn't do anything to you or for you. And once again, you're mid, which doesn't help you either. Why do we want to be mid lane right now?
Yeah, I don't even know, honestly. It's
Why
just
don't
like
we
that.
go ahead, shove this tower out, take tower, run back mid, take the wave, and then basically then look at the lane state and see how,
And then
or the
push,
map state,
yeah.
you know? You can take this tower, and then this actually helps you a lot because now what does
I think part of it is like I'm worried that Mundo can chase me down and kill me with his ult. And I
Dodge.
can't at this point.
Dodge's Q or his fucking whatever it is that he
Yeah.
throws out, right?
His whatever thing, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know his abilities, which is awkward coach by the way, but basically,
it's okay.
kill this, and if you kill this tower, these minion waves meet over here. And if that's the case, then how can Mundo like fight you? Because he wants to be clearing the wave that's all the way here. And this basically opens up opportunity for you to basically get a vision, get wards here, and then look for the Rift Herald. Alternatively, now that we've already kind of fucked up, you can shove this wave out, go solo the Rift Herald, go then take top, kill the tower, and then if he shows, that's fine. We reset and we go back, right? If bot lane gets taken out, which actually has, we can immediately, now our game plan kind of changes. Now, I actually didn't realize that bot lane just got taken, right? So now what we can do is we want to say, okay, well, we want to split push because we can still potentially kill him. So we shove this wave in, we then solo Rift Herald, we shove top, we take tower potentially, we recall, we become straight bot lane, we eat Gromp, and then we just push. And then we basically play for whatever the objective is that's up next. If it's a Cloud Dragon, we can stay on the relevant side of the map, knowing that our team can basically set up for Baron control in the next 2 minutes, right? If it's an actual important dragon, like Earth or Fire, then we don't actually reset to the right-hand side.
So what do you consider more? I mean, like, yeah, I consider Infernal and Mountain are more important than Cloud and Ocean.
Everything else is
right?
point. Yeah, so there's only 4 dragons, right? So Infernal and
right,
Mountain
yeah,
are the
one's
only
move.
dragons.
Yeah. Ocean's what health out of combat, and
Ocean is
Ocean
worthless.
is movement. Oh, wait, not Ocean. Sorry, that was Ocean. I like the what's the other one? The Cloud, I think, is movement speed out of combat.
The movement speed is worthless for your team because they don't know what to do on the map. The Ocean is worthless for your team because this team is not looking to chunk you up. They want to kill you, right?
Yeah.
Likewise, right? Earth Dragon is always good because who doesn't want the damage and the objective control.
Yeah.
And then Infernal, I don't have to fucking
explain
that.
Yeah.
So here, one thing you can do is instead of joining your monkey team here, ignore them. What happens if this team What happens if your team loses the fight here?
They take bot tower.
They take bot tower. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
So what can you do? You can basically, instead of you don't take mid, you can do Rift Herald, kill this wave, take this tower, reset to mid, and then use your Rift Herald. With mid, you get the tower anyway. You've effectively gotten XP, gotten like 4 or 5 waves on top of the enemy top laner. They got the bot tower. You got potentially 2 towers plus the Rift Herald XP. Alternatively, you also got wards on the right-hand side jungle while you were doing all of this. So by the time that, let's say, the enemy does reset onto the right-hand side, on the left-hand side of the map, you can maybe get a pick, or one of your teammates can get a pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to live in the moment here. This is all pointless. You don't actually have to help your team out. Here, just push the lanes. Take the Rift Herald, take top. And instead you're fighting. Killing Yasuo doesn't do anything for your team. Your team is dead. Right?
Yeah,
This is
true.
like, I don't have to explain.
And I mean, it's way less. And it, in terms of like what you said for your that pathing and stuff, like I would have ended up with way more XP and way more gold.
Well, you would have caught the next incoming.
And potentially 2 objectives.
Yeah.
Like,
Not to mention, if you shove in the tower, what are you denying? You're denying them getting minions, and then Kai'Sa doesn't actually end up picking this whole wave up, right?
Yeah.
And now at this point, we can just say, okay, well, this is really ugly. We can take this. Okay, we take this camp because we know we're not going to stay here any longer. We can reset, send our bot lane mid or top lane, depending on how it plays, and then just start pushing, right? And then your objective in the game should just be to gather slow pushes and then look for flanks onto the enemy. with respects to team fighting. Alternatively, if nothing works out, you stall the game out and you 1-3-1 with your team, knowing that Ezreal and Zyra will actually be able to be fine. Ezreal has a lot of escape, so does Talon, right? So these are things that you can start entertaining, you know, on how you can properly split push. You end up dying, which doesn't make any sense, right? So already lots of issues. And here, there's no reason to share XP.
Share XP.
Share XP, like you're pushing the same lane as your ally. Like,
Oh yeah, exactly. You know,
why don't we
right.
go here?
Yeah.
Why don't we basically force Mundo to come answer to us? We can and then, you know, we can be pushing out. We can out trade Mundo because he's a donkey. We can then force Yasuo to come to us, and then basically a 3v5 happens. 3v4 happens on the left hand side of the map. Our team then kills and wins the 3v4, gets Rift Herald, and then maybe gets a tower or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of being on the top hand side of the map, you can just be bot side. Alternatively, you can go bot, shove this wave out, slow push the wave, go straight mid, know that somebody's going to answer this wave, so as they answer the wave, you're just basically going to go ahead and find a fight here into the middle of the map with like a 4v5, because you know someone's going to be answering the wave. Obviously playing around the teleport cooldown of Mundo, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are things that you can start doing. But now what ends up happening is you're just like grouping with your team, and this is when I talk about like players in your elo just not understanding how macro works at all. Right?
No, and we're basically all A-ramming now.
Why 5v5 when you can 5v4? Why 5v5 when you can 3v4? Right? Why you can get the advantages, and look how the lane's looking. If nobody answers to this wave bounces back into them, and they get even more minions. Right? This bleed builds up. Not to mention you're killing these minions next to Yi and Fiddlesticks, so you're barely getting any of, like, you know, you're not really getting much out of it. So like the enemy top laner will begin to outlevel you, and here you go straight bot. Just beeline bot lane, yep. And then you ping your teammates back. Like, what the fuck is this, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is fine, because you get the kill, but if my team was even good, we would have just started the Baron. Right?
Right. Because he's bot lane, so...
He's
like,
bot lane, and even if they do
yeah.
respond, hell, it's fine, you know, we can still... We can still do something about it, right? And now
Right.
here, you just push bot lane. Here, just push bot lane. So you're grouping with your team without any, like, reason to. You can push the lane
and
here.
we're not doing anything.
Not
either.
doing
We're
anything,
really
exactly.
doing anything.
One thing which might be a little bit advanced, now this is not going to happen for a while, at least in like low and even high elo, is if there's more blue minions than red minions, you can actually just lock the lane here by freezing it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What ends up happening is now this lane in itself is completely like blank for the enemy, and now they can only play with 2 lanes on the left hand
How would
side.
I lock a lane though with Tiamat?
Well, when I say lock a lane, well, you don't hit the wave. Don't hit the wave. If there's more blue minions than red minions, don't do anything.
Won't the wave slow push our direction?
Yeah, they will.
Okay.
They'll lock for like a good 45 seconds or even a minute.
Okay.
Depend-
Oh,
now-
okay.
now
You
let's
mean,
say
you
that-
mean for at least a minute? Yeah. I got you.
not forever, obviously, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And
I
then
got you.
if there's too many blue minions, you can use your time at to thin the wave, and by thinning, then it'll lock slower. Because if there's
Right.
too many blue minions, then it'll crash into tower, and then it'll bounce back. Right?
Uh-huh.
There's like these little niche things you can do with the minion waves, and I mean, you don't really have to worry too much about it, but regardless, it's always nice to know. At this point, what are you thinking? Aside from AFKing in base.
I'm not sure,
You're not
honestly.
thinking.
Yeah.
Here, you're just A-ramming. If the enemy team had better team fight than you, and they had superior mechanics than one of your, you know, your carries or something, you should just be losing the game, right? Like, so
in games when they're like when I like they obviously do have superior team fight. I need to play. I need to take my. I need to do what you're doing. What you're saying, basically, like just work for objectives and splitting and stuff as much as possible.
Okay, so you wouldn't
and
want
wait
to
for them to make mistakes.
You wouldn't want to fight the 6'5", fucking 200-pound, 300-pound man. That you're gonna get squashed, right? That's literally what you're doing. I mean, not in this case, right? But in some cases, if the team fight is superior, because obviously Fiddlesticks ulti can really hurt you.
Yeah, their team fight's pretty gross,
Yeah.
especially with
Your team fight isn't as good because you have the Yi, you have the Talon who's looking for the picks. Ezreal is fine. Zyra's actually relatively good in team fights, and you're not looking to team fight. You're looking to slow push, right? You're looking to look for either flanks with 4v5 advantages, or you're just looking to force people towards you so that your team can actually do something relevant on the map, right? So
Right.
like this is the problem. If you're playing like this every game, what ends up happening is now it doesn't matter because now you're gonna sit at like a 50% win rate, right?
Mhm.
You're gonna sit at a relatively mediocre win rate because you're playing the same way, and now what ends up happening is like half the time you might win the team fight, you win the game. Other half,
Right.
some shit goes
You
wrong
don't.
because your teammates
Yeah.
make a misplayed micro, and then you lose, right?
Okay.
Like your team doesn't actually need you. First of all, you fucked up by not taking this. Okay, so this tower goes out. Whatever. If you push, they have to send someone to you, right? Assuming the Rift Child isn't there, right? The Rift Child is here, then I guess you can temporarily stay just to clear it. But then, look what happens. Right? Mundo wants to team fight. You don't want to team fight. Mundo wants to soak up as much damage. That's his goal, right? Whereas your
Yeah.
goal is to obviously, as I said before, look for the flanks, look for the 4v5 advantages, look for the picks, right?
Mhm.
Which you're not doing. You just kind of ran it into him, and then And it's funny because like, he himself probably doesn't even understand this basic concept, but it works out because basically both of the teams are just autopiloting. Okay. And in this case, what are you thinking at this point? What you're doing is fine right now, by the way.
I mean, I was trying to shove this wave out so they wouldn't have an advantage with the Baron buff, like with the minions crashing in.
Dragon
So
is this? That's Dragon, right? Okay, so let's do this instead. Why don't we tap the wave? You slow push the wave into them. Okay, now I'm gonna basically map out the next minute and a half for you. You push the wave. You tap the wave. When I say tap, kill the. If you kill these 3 minions first, I believe it hard pushes, and if you kill these,
Yeah.
it slow pushes, right?
it's yep.
So if you basically slow push or even fast push, it's really irrelevant at this point in this elo. Do whatever. Okay, tap the wave, kill half of it. The wave's gonna build up on this left hand side of the map.
Right.
Immediately
They'll
recall.
have to send someone. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Immediately recall. Run straight to the important dragon that's coming up. They have
Is that
not-
fast? Is that faster than running down the river? Well, it's dangerous because we have no vision. So.
Well, yeah, you don't have. Yeah, if you face check, it's over, right?
Yeah.
Recall. Go straight to the dragon and just dance, right?
Right.
While you're in the dragon, just be relevant and just literally dance in like here to here, right? Obviously, if you go here, this gives the team ample opportunity to go ahead and push mid. Alternatively, what you can do is you can recall after tapping the wave, push mid, and then join your team, while simultaneously Talon pushes bot lane. Now what ends up happening is because now, yes, the enemy has Baron, yes, they can win a team fight, but you can 4v5 because you can win a team fight because now they have to send
someone.
They have to send someone, and that's what you want to do. Then what you do is you just look for the flank using the blast plan, right? Depending on what angles are taken into the team fight.
Right.
Okay. But instead of mindlessly pushing, because you're not actually going to make use of anything here. You actually you do want the dragon. And I mean, you died to Fiddlesticks here, so it doesn't really matter. Actually, yeah, I thought you killed him for a second there. So does that all make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. It does.
Okay, so a lot of macro things that you can start doing. And at this point, your team wins the team fight because this fucking elo is RNG. And at this point, immediately, what's happening?
Wait, would you say RNG?
Yeah, it's like fucking.
What's RNG mean?
Like you're rolling a dice.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's random. Yeah. It's all random, right? Literally all random. It's fucking ARAM here. So now one thing you can do now that this is happening is you have no reason to be mid lane.
Yeah.
Not when this wave is here. Not when this wave is about to, take some tower. You're about to take some tower damage. Immediately run down bot lane and then start pushing this wave. And what this does, it basically, well, first of all, 2 of them are fucking dead. Second of all, it allows your team to get dragon. Next, what it does, it basically allows your team to get defensive vision in order to basically defend from the next push that's incoming from the wave, from the enemy team, because they still have Baron buff. Right? Now what is happening is by pushing this wave, you actually stall out how much long they can actually make use of the Baron buff. Right? So immediately, bot lane, shove this out, team takes dragon, you take golems, you come back, you take romp, you recall, you come back and you analyze the map. Someone's obviously going to eat this wave by the time this happens, and then you just defend, you wait. Okay?
Okay.
They come back to still push the wave. Their Baron's almost gone. You go back. You tap the wave out again, and then you basically wait for another 4v5 advantages while looking for a flank onto the enemy team. Alternatively, you don't do either of those, and you just keep pushing and hoping to God that your team doesn't fight, and let them know, right? Because the more mess ups, the more times we mess up, the fewer options we have, right?
Right.
Now, if you're really ahead, fucking forget all of this. Keep pushing. None of them can kill you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the games that I'm really ahead. I do a lot of solo lane pushing,
Yeah.
more of this stuff. It's just like the games that I'm behind. I realize I'm kind of
Your team doesn't need you.
yeah, and that's what
Right?
I feel like they do. I guess. Okay,
Well, you have to
sure.
evaluate
Or
yourself.
I'm like thinking I need, and also I mean I'm a lower elo, so I don't think about this stuff a lot.
If, for example, you're fully fed, you're like, let's say you're like 5-0 or 10-0, and the lane phase is over and it's mid game or whatever, right? And you're pushing, and your team loses a team fight, and then you lose the inhibitor, and then you lose the nexus. It is not your fault. Okay? It
Okay.
is it is your team's fault, and at that point you just say whatever, next game. Because
if I'm solo pushing and they send 5 mid and they lose a team fight because they decide to fight and then they run it down.
If your team fucks up, it's their fault, and in that case, you basically make the correct decisions about. If you make the correct decisions 100% of the time, then your team
you'll have a higher win rate.
You'll have a
Yeah, I
higher
mean,
exactly, and not to mention you can communicate these simple things as well. Like tell them, let's not team
Right.
fight. Alternatively, you have to also use your head a little bit because your team could be like, all right, well we don't want a team fight, but they engaged onto us. In that case, start evaluating how can they engage onto you. Well, the only thing they can really do is Fiddlesticks ulti.
Right.
That's literally the only thing they can do, right? So then tell them to ward the flanks or do it for them and then push. Right?
Okay.
These are things that you can start doing. And then if you're really afraid that your team's gonna fight, build a slow push and join it anyway, and then dance. Because if you just dance for it, then they have to send someone anyway. It delays the fact that you're actually gonna get the turret, but it doesn't matter because at least you don't lose a team fight.
Yeah.
Okay. And here there's a huge wave, but you're still wasting XP and time, right?
Mhm.
He's level 15, you're level 14. You could be level 17 or 16 right now.
Right.
Right? You're low level mainly because you're not catching these waves.
Right.
And at this point, you're pushing, you're doing your thing. This is all good, I guess. And now you're just picking them off because they're monkeys. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna climb elo unless you start playing with better players. And I mean, you'll still climb, but you're not gonna get better as a player unless you start actually entertaining what a team can actually do. Because these people, they don't understand. They click slower than higher elo players. They think slower, and overall the play is a lot slower. Right? There's a big. It looks different when you're playing on higher elo versus like gold and platinum. It looks really different. So, at this point, shove mid. Right? You push mid. I mean, don't die. And flashing here doesn't do anything for you. If you die here, what happens?
Not a lot. There's not much they can do, really.
There is. There's Baron.
Oh, there's Baron. Okay, yeah. Oh, wait. Sorry. No. My computer went dark for a second.
No, my mind went dark because I didn't realize Baron was up. Right. So here, flashing is fine. Right, but like you flash flash unless you absolutely need it. Like here, let's talk about this. He can't kill you. Right? Look at this.
Mm-hmm.
He's not gonna kill you. Here he goes.
I thought he was going to. I don't know.
He's not gonna kill you. He's not gonna kill you. He can ult you, and say he ults you, okay? And then say the enemy team comes from here, and someone comes from here. Then yeah, you can flash, but don't flash just because he does this. You're like a fucking, you're like a goddamn. You're so big. Like you're an alligator. You don't need to be afraid of him, okay?
Okay.
You're not like an AD carry that needs to be flashing away for something like that. You can take the damage. Yeah. Okay. And at this point, I mean, you guys are just fighting aimlessly, which is I guess it's fine. Not really, obviously, because you lose, right? But I mean, I don't have to go over this because you already know the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have any questions about this VOD?
No, not really. I mean, honestly, that's the thing is like, if I would have kept, if I would have kept actually going the way you're talking about and splitting and stuff and trying to get picks, because I mean their team fight's obviously much better than maybe we could have won. I mean I don't know. I mean I feel like
okay. So basically, the main reason why I didn't want to talk about micro or too much of micro is because you can look up you can go to a higher level player. Okay, you can look up like an actual Renekton player. Okay, not fucking solo Renekton only. I'm talking about like proper top
No, I
players.
meant like, do you know? I mean, I know he's not like super good, and I mean he's got some issues too. But like Romania, I talked to him and like Godric Ton and
Okay,
and then and then
I don't know
and
any. I don't know who
RTO.
that
Do you know
is.
RTO?
No
Or,
idea.
okay.
I just came to NA because if they're NA, I probably don't know them. Unless they got stomped by me in solo queue. But anyways, basically, watch these players and just compare. Okay. Compare how they play versus how you play. Okay.
Right.
And then when it comes to mid game, it's all about just understanding how the game is working, right? Just understand what you want to be doing, and always ask yourself, what does the enemy want to do, and how can I basically prevent that, right? So there once again there are a number of things you can do, but you have to start understanding the smaller micro things. The biggest issue micro wise is you're just fighting in the minion waves. You're not actually fighting with respects to when their cooldowns are down. You're not actually fighting with respects to when the enemy jungler is on your side of the map, right? Other than that, like your level 2 is a little awkward because you're not actually going in when you should be going in. Level 3 spikes a little bit of minion control issues there as well. So just start. The first step is obviously to understand that there's a problem. Now that you've acknowledged the fact that these are some aspects that you can start working on, the second thing you want to start doing is find out how to do it. So just copy the higher level players, right? And then when it comes to mid game, just do exactly as they do because it's just a pattern in that case, right? There's nothing specific. In some cases, yes, it'll change, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any questions regarding that?
Nope, not really.
Okay. All right, we're gonna stop the VOD here. Okay.